All right, we're back. The Nando
We're
Rome
back.
show. We're back after a week off. If you missed us, sorry. Rome's got a lot of things going on. So
Yes, yes, but I'm back.
he's back. So there's a lot of stuff to catch up on.
hmm
Um, but yeah. Before I forget, what's up, Rome?
No, it's going day by day.
There you go. Well, um, obviously, right before we get into it, quick reminder: like, subscribe, share, comment, all that. It helps us all out. Whether it's this show, whether it's the hockey show, whether it's the competition timeout that I do, or the returning Throne Bros, which the preview episode is gonna debut on Saturday, right before the new season of Game of Thrones. So the Throne Bros are back this week and throughout the new season. So that's just for you Game of Thrones fans. So
I don't
uh,
watch Game of Thrones.
what?
I said I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I mean, I already told you about how I feel about that. You wear it like a badge of honor, like it's something. Like I don't care that you didn't watch it. Stay over there. Like,
I'm the one person that did not watch it.
no, I mean you and there's people, but
Yeah,
like you guys like to come out and just like wear it proudly. I never watched it.
I'm
Like
just saying I didn't
okay,
watch it.
like
I'm just
cool,
saying I didn't
man.
watch it.
Anyway, all right. So last week when we didn't do an episode, the Eagles had their mandatory mini camp, which was 3 days. I believe this is the first time they had the mandatory mini camp since Nick has been here. So it was 2 years, well, 3 years of Nick, and this is year four. Damn, time has flown by.
hmm
Yeah, because he had the
Yeah,
playoffs. They first season playoffs lost to Tampa, then went to the Super Bowl, then last year lost to Tampa again, and then maybe another
maybe
Super
we
Bowl.
should just not play Tampa in the playoffs.
No, maybe not. But maybe it means it's another Super Bowl this year. I mean, appearance.
Maybe,
But
maybe.
we can hope for. So they did their first mini camp before I think he left it up to the players. They agreed not to do it, and they all showed up to the volunteer stuff. But this time it was like their first mini camp. So I mean, everything that came out of the mini camps was kind of what we talked about a few weeks ago, which
hmm
was a lot of cornerback depth, a lot of bodies at cornerback. It's
Yes,
going
a
to be a
lot of bodies.
really fun camp. Um, honestly, is what it's shaping out to be. No pads. Everything was. I don't even think they wore shoulder pads. I think it was all helmets and 7-on-7 and
Yeah, it was just shells.
yeah. So
Or no, shells was it was top pads, wasn't it?
yeah,
He did shells, yeah. Okay,
yeah,
just helmets.
yeah. So yeah, it was a lot of 7-on-7. I mean, they did a lot of 11-on-11, but I don't think there was even any shoulder pads or anything. I could be
No.
wrong. Maybe
I mean,
that.
I didn't there was no pic let's put it this way, no any pictures that were released. No one was wearing pads.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it went through. The big thing was everybody's trying to wonder what Landon Dickerson was excused for a family thing, so he was the only one that missed camp.
hmm
Uh, and Nick said he talked to him, he was excused, so no worries there. That did prompt a very interesting thing to happen, where Mekhi Becton was filling in at left guard. A guy who's played tackle all his life, big boy, and Jeff Stoutland's trying to find a way to get him into get him on
hmm
this roster to stay in, and I like that. Um, I like the versatility that they're trying to do, and I think Jeff's always done that, or has found guys who can do that. Because even I think everybody on the line can do well for the most part do multiple positions. So
hmm
which is good in case they have to shuffle. Because Dickerson was originally a center, he's playing guard. Everybody says if Jurgens doesn't pan out, they think he's going to be moved to center. That's the rumor. Like once he got signed, so like once he did the extension this off season, it was like people could see him jumping into center if Jurgens doesn't pan out. I think Jurgens is going to be fine, but that's
He'll
just my optimism.
he'll be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's got big shoes to fill, but I think you know,
Jeff Stoutland will have him right.
yeah, I trust Jeff. I trust Jeff a lot. So from all the years he's been here, it's been almost 10 years now. So since he's been here, so
and the
And
line has always been our strength.
yeah, throughout those 10 years, it's been our strength. So I'm not worried about that. Everybody was talking about the big thing, obviously, besides the secondary, because a lot of the reporters were reporting on who was taking snaps with the first team in the secondary, what were the combinations. Uh, for the most part, obviously, it was Slay and Ringo for the most part starting out and with the first team. Also, Bradbury was hurt for 2 days out of the three of the camp, but I think on the only day he practiced, Nick pointed out that he was also training at safety, which
Mm-hmm.
at his age and slowing down safety might be the move. Also, we saw last year where he played inside more. Um, I don't know what's going to happen there. A lot of people think he's
Yeah.
not going to be on the team because of how good Ringo's doing, how good Rogers is doing after missing a year because of the suspension, the gambling, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like he hasn't missed a beat, is what everybody's saying. So that's a good sign. And he, even though he's not like over 6 foot, he's a little smaller. He does play on the outside, and he's really good at it.
Yeah.
So and then Ringo, according to everyone, had a really good camp going into his second year. And this is what I like. I understand that we drafted Mitchell, but
Mm-hmm.
trusting that second year guy and giving him the first shot at the other spot outside of on the other side of Slay is really good. And he's been at least, like we said, with no pads or anything, he's been really good according to everybody that was there, which for me it's I like how the future is looking because Ringo and Mitchell on the outside, Cooper, DeJohn on the inside, and
Mm-hmm.
then we can go from there. That'll be the future secondary, I think. So Slay might be done after this year, or once the contract's
Yeah, I
up,
think
which is
he
I think
is.
he's got 2 more years or whatever. But I think, but yeah. So a lot of exciting things came out of camp. I think also middle linebackers. It was Devin White and Zach Bond, but we'll see how that goes because people are so worried about what is Nakobe Dean doing. Is he getting snaps? Whatever the hell. But
Yeah.
I mean,
It
we'll
is what
see.
it is.
Nothing. I don't think nothing's set in stone. I think they did a lot of, from what I read, there was a lot of switching around too,
Mm-hmm.
but trying to try things. So we'll see. It's very early. It's only June. They're off until basically the end of July. Um, like usual, they're on their summer break.
Mm-hmm.
But around here, the big buzz has been for the last week has been something that Jalen said or the way he responded to a question about Nick. Um, I, you know me, Rome. Well, I don't like to overreact about these things, but everybody on the radio is freaking out about it. Um,
Yeah. I mean, I started to bite into it, but then I was like, well, maybe he just doesn't really know how Nick feels about the new offense.
yeah,
Um, so I don't know. I just think he just didn't word it right, but I feel like
there was a lot
not,
of ums and pausing and trying to figure out. It seemed
yeah,
like he was trying to figure out what really to say, and then like
yeah.
because the
Um,
question was really like, what do you think it says? I think the question was, what do you think it says about like Nick that he's willing to like change or something like that? I think what's like the base of the question, basically.
yeah, basically about Jesus. Why am I forgetting his name already?
Kellen.
Yeah, more. I mean, he's basically got the reins of the offense, like it's his offense going in.
Well, yeah, I mean, he also in that same interview said that like 95% of the plays they've learned so far are new. That's what
Hmm.
Jalen said in that same interview, which it's early on. So I think the basics were being installed. Like, I don't think they're going to practice the stuff that was left over from Nick's offense because they know that stuff.
Yeah,
So I think this is the time to learn the new, and most of training camp is going to be about learning the new stuff.
yeah,
Um, so I'm not surprised by that. The other thing in his last press conference, Nick basically admitted that um, he's not like he's still involved, but not as involved as I guess people want him to be. Because that was another thing where people were kind of some people
yeah,
try to take and run with the fact that he got a demotion, which I mean I'm okay. I've always been okay with a guy. being the overseer of everything, the boss. It's worked out for Tomlin all these years.
Yeah.
Maybe Tomlin has a more of an influence on the defense because he came from the defensive side. We just don't know it because we're not in the meetings and I'm not reading everything that comes out of Pittsburgh. But
Mm-hmm.
he's been a guy who's been that, and there's been plenty of guys who have been that let the people, let the coordinators coordinate and
Yeah.
don't really, you know, I mean, they have a hand. At the end of the day, they're basically the boss. It's like, and they're the people under him. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
he has to, he has approval for what's being put in. And so, and, if he likes this or that, and I'm sure he has approval of like still the same thing. Are we going for it on fourth down here and stuff
Yeah.
like that? So, and probably in the headset he'll talk to Kellen in game like, what do you think? And I think this. And then Kellen's gonna say I think that, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll figure that out. But I don't. I think sometimes we try to find things to fucking talk about here at
Yeah.
first. But whatever. We're working on that sound, by the way. My brother's a sound guy, so he's got all those sounds. He cuts
He's
them
got
up
some.
for me, and then
All right.
I got to put them in. But
All right.
next time. Uh, but yeah, that's what's going on with the Eagles. I mean, around here, Eagles wise, um, somewhat Eagles related, even though he retired, and supposedly he's in the building like once a week or twice a week. And that's Mr. Jason Kelsey, your neighbor
He's
down
yeah,
at
he's
the
on
beach.
yeah, he's in there a
Um,
lot still. Just
yeah,
working out with the guys.
him and Travis invested in some beer company.
Well, that was the first that I heard when you mentioned it to me earlier. So
Did you look at it? I saw it today. I got like
I
a
didn't
thing
get a
today.
chance to work it up at a beer company. Hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Let's
the reason why I
see.
want to bring it up is because
Let me
we're
look up
both
real
beer
quick.
guys. You more because you are a marketer's dream, especially when it is coming from a player that you like. It's easy to get you. So
Oh yeah.
figure.
If you look at hold on,
I mean, you not the beer bowl. Come on, that's not what I want.
beer bowl. I mean, if you
All
look
right.
right here, look. They suckered me in with this.
Yeah, there you go. A little
L
Philly flavor.
it's
NFL.
fucking
So
L.A. and Pransky. Yeah.
Jason
Um.
Kelsey and Travis
Well, I had
buy
it.
ownership stake in Garage Beer.
Yeah, it's an Ohio-based company.
There you go.
Um,
You're gonna get it shipped. I know. Next time I go see you, you're gonna have it. I already know it. Because they're
you
gonna come
did.
out with a flavor
Damn
named
right.
after Jason. Cleveland
I'll probably
Heights.
have like a hat. I'll probably have like a hat on or something.
Yeah. So that happened.
Maybe we can get them to be our sponsor here.
Yeah, well, maybe help out the little guys, the Kelseys. Maybe
Yeah.
next time you're both in the same town, you bump into them and be like, "Hey, man, give us a shout
Yeah,
out."
I'll march on down. Hey, we need a sponsor.
Yeah. Um, Phillies news. Phillies are still doing great. Um, just yesterday, well, because we're taping this Thursday. I mean, Wednesday. What am I doing?
I
Yesterday,
don't know. Sorry.
Schwarber had a
I
two
don't yeah.
two home run night. Um, I mean, that doesn't mean anything to me, but
No.
the biggest news is JT had to get
JT.
surgery,
Yep,
and
for a meniscus.
he'll be missed. But I
Um
think we'll see, because I think
uh,
this has been more about the pitching than it has
yeah.
been about the hitting. Honestly, so we'll see like what that does. They still are fighting game in and game out with
Mhm.
the Yankees. They're in the other league, so it doesn't matter with the Yankees for the best record. And I kind of like that. Um, because then I get to talk shit to you guys at some point.
Yep.
Not right now because it's early and we had a scare. Soto got hurt for a little bit, got a little forearm inflation or whatever. Was out for a couple games
Mhm.
this weekend while we faced the Dodgers, and now he's back. And so far, we're about to go 3-0 against the Dodgers in the 4 game series, but I mean against the Royals. Sorry, same colors basically. But yeah, that's that. Um, well, last week something funny came up that we didn't get to touch because we didn't do an episode. and it might be late to some people, but me and Roman kind of started to get in a debate on our text messages talking about what we would talk about last week, which didn't happen. So we'll bring it up because we're like a week behind and we're recapping. Um, Rome didn't take kindly to something up and coming quarterback CJ Stroud said.
You mean up and falling
Oh
quarterback
well,
CJ
that's your
Stroud?
take on it. Um, I won't go there, and this is why we left it for the podcast because we're on two sides of um the argument on this one. Uh so basically, I'm trying to look it up because I
Well,
should have
yeah,
had it up already.
oh, I got the Phillies game on. They're the fucking Dahl and Merrifield are killing us right now.
What do you mean? Errors?
Yes, and like
Okay.
Dahl just couldn't play the freaking ball off the green monster. Like he
Oh, there
ran
you
up
go.
to the wall and it bounced like 10 feet above his head on the wall. So
All
now
right. So
we're past that.
basically, he was on the $1 million Worth of Game podcast. Shout out to them. And he was talking about basically said something to the extent of like, if you want the rings, Eli's got two, Aaron's only got one. We know this. Aaron's only been there once and hasn't gone back. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he's always in the playoffs, but he doesn't have a great playoff record. We could look it up. Um, yeah, I mean, if you want to make the ring comparison, yes, Eli technically had a better career if you're talking rings.
But he had great defenses.
Yeah, I mean, we know stat wise and ability wise, Rogers is better, especially with the
Mm-hmm.
Eli comparison. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Um, he also said that he's talked to Tom Brady about this because he's a good mentor of his. So the Brady and him is in this. Um,
Okay.
he said that basically that Brady told him basically as a mentor to him, like basically it's about treating his teammates right, and that's where I think it's all falls off from Rodgers, and that he doesn't know how Rodgers treats his teammates, but you can guarantee that Tom Brady treats his teammates right because that's how he got those rings. Uh
And taking low pay so he can have better players around him.
yeah. Well, Tom wanted to win so bad that he took the pay cuts.
Well, who's
And
already getting millions from sponsors, so
also, by the way, they were kind of pulling a Howie, and people forget that, where he would get the bonuses. That's how he got paid up front, and
mhm.
then it was worked out a way so that it wouldn't hurt the cap.
Yeah.
But he was never the top paid quarterback, which is like you can commend Brady for that, but I think he did it for a reason. Um, but yeah, but also it's the 1 year he had offensive weapons, they went undefeated and lost to the Giants. So it's not like he
Mhm.
also had the weapons. I mean, most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time he had pretty good
I mean,
players.
Gronk, and that was like his top one when he had that. As far as like receiver wise, his best receiver ever with Moss. Um, so this is where you got a little upset. I think he said if you give Matthew Stafford a chance like Aaron Rodgers had, I guarantee you he might have had more rings. I'd say he would have like 3 or 4 rings. And this is where
It's 100% false.
no, no,
False.
no, no, no. See, I'm on the other side. I've always been a Stafford fan, even
Listen,
when he
I'm
was
a
in
Stafford
Detroit.
fan too. I love
I
Stafford.
fell in love with Stafford when he was in Detroit and he played with like a basically like broken elbow and like finished the
Yeah.
game one time and drove them to get like one win the 1 year, like at the end of the game with like a messed up elbow. And listen, Megatron, and that was it. That's all he had. Sucky defenses, which honestly, if you look at Aaron's Super Bowl win, that defense was phenomenal with Matthews and
It was all right.
all right, look at the numbers. They beat us. We were there freezing our asses off.
Hold on. That was just a stupid pass by Vic. Okay.
Okay, but that defense was really good. Just saying. Look up the numbers and back. We can look back at the numbers. Dom Capers, defensive coordinator of that team. Good old Dom. Shout out to him. Uh, but he really hasn't been. Well, not really. He hasn't been back since.
Mm.
I mean, Stafford had to go to LA to do it because he wasn't going to do it in Detroit.
Well,
Now,
the Rams definitely went all in that year.
well, the Rams have been going all in since even 2 years
I mean,
before
they were
when they made
forced.
it
I mean,
close and lost to the Patriots. And I think that's they were already kind of starting that, and then they went. They didn't have a first round pick until this year. They didn't have a first
yeah,
round pick for like 5 years.
yeah. So I mean, they went all in on that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, he had those weapons then, got the Super Bowl. He said that also said he said he's a student of the game, and that's all I watch. I watch nobody else. He's talking about Stafford. He said I watch Patrick Mahomes at times because Mahomes does stuff I like, but you can't coach that like what Mahomes is doing. Um, Stafford, tough. He'll beat you with the same thing every time. I'm a fan of his. Which what a lot of people don't know is that like these coaches aren't like I mean, some of these coaches are geniuses, but a lot of times is if something worked in the first quarter, they're gonna save that
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna use it again
Mm-hmm.
later, and then they'll use it again, but in a different formation, a different variation. It's it's yeah, a lot of times it's the same plays that we watch every damn all the 30 plays that we watch on offense.
Yeah.
But it's just a different variation. And then yeah, that was it. So you had thoughts. You basically said that you were mad at that and that you didn't think he was gonna have a good year.
No, I think Stroud's just an idiot. He just needs to stop talking. Um, no, I he don't. I think he is highly overhyped. I don't get it with him. There's never been an Ohio State. He's from Ohio State, right? Yeah,
Yes.
Ohio State quarterback that fucking does good in the NFL. Never. So trust me, he's coming down.
Well,
He's gonna have a shit year. I don't care what receivers he has this year. He's
yeah.
not gonna do shit. It's gonna be hilarious. I can't wait. I can't wait for this downfall because everyone's riding let's see. I'm trying to clean up my speech. I'm not trying to drop some stuff.
It's
Some
Jock.
inappropriate stuff. Yeah, his jock. Everyone's on his jock. And it's super annoying.
So I'm gonna be on his Jock because I'm on the opposite side because I'm actually excited because I get excited about things other people do, even like especially when it's not in the same conference as the Eagles. But my God, they went to the playoffs, lost to the Ravens, um, and first year coach, first year quarterback. This year they invested the money very well, I think, and got Diggs, paid Nico Collins, got themselves Joe Mixon, so better running back, better number one. Nico was their number one. As much as I like Nico, he's not a number one. He's a number two. Um, and they re-signed Schultz, pretty good tight end. The line was hurt, and they did like most of the line was hurt last year, and they did all what they did, making the playoffs. And defensively, they just added to what they had. Daniil Hunter, they signed him like a nice little 3 year deal. This was the offseason 3 year deals. I think I said that like when we were doing the free agency thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then that's going to add to Anderson. That's another guy pass rushing on opposite of Anderson, who had a really good rookie year as well. I think he won Defensive Rookie of the Year um, last year. So
Might have.
I, the pieces look good. You could be right. They could have a sophomore slump. Uh,
He's gonna have a career slump. He's done.
to
It's
me, I
it's
was
over.
thinking about it when we were having this argument. To me, there's some similarities to what they did kind of to like what Nick did on his first year. And I'm talking about like coaching. Like they went to the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
but they got bounced in the first round. And then like I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl. The AFC is so much better than the NFC. It's yeah. There's a lot. There's so many talented quarterbacks in the AFC that like
Mm-hmm.
it's a tough road.
Yeah.
Uh so like you could be right, but I don't know if it's going to be like an awful season. I just think there's so much like, especially quarterback talent, like over in the AFC that he has to go through. Richardson coming back with the Colts for a second year, who was having a really good year before getting hurt. Um, Titans, I don't think they're going to be that good, but what's his name is going to have his second year in, I forget his name now. Um, Will Levis.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of your boys in that division. Uh, Sunshine.
Sunshine.
We'll see if Doug can get him back to where he's at. Um, Part of his, it wasn't a downfall, or part of his like numbers going down last towards the end of last season was because Christian Kirk was hurt. That's his like number one target.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Him and Evan Ingram down the middle really works for them. Uh, and that's just the division that I just named. So you got Richardson, you got Levis, you got Lawrence. And so that's just the division. And then, I could go on, in the East, you got Rodgers, you got who's in the East? Allen, Tua. Like just the AFC is just locked in with quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So it's just a tougher road. So it's like that could anybody could have a down year, not really numbers wise, but because all the competition they have to face. But I don't think it's gonna be that bad.
I don't know.
I think it is.
All I'm saying is, if you have yourself any CJ Stroud autographs or anything like that, you better start selling them now because it's gonna be worthless in
Uh,
about a year or two.
if you win one of those, just let me know. I'll take it.
All right, you're gonna pay a pretty penny for that just because your
Okay. I
talks.
thought
I
you were
see.
gonna
I see.
work shit.
That
All
was what
right.
that was
So
what the Yankees one that I still have. It's right here.
yeah, well, the Martian, he just got reinstated. He might be getting called up soon.
Yeah, it's
He
got
just
right
did his
there.
rehab. My guy, Jason Dominguez. Yeah, 89. I don't
All
like the
right.
number, but I like him.
God damn it! Why does it go blurry?
I don't know. I think they get the jizz. No pun intended. Um, so we got a few minutes left. So Roman is debuting a new segment. So you said you came up with a random top five.
What right now?
I mean,
Uh,
did you want to do it today? We don't have to because I don't even know.
I
Look, we're
see.
gonna
I
debut
mean,
some new things. Um,
which top five did you want? How much time we got about 10,
just
9
do
minutes?
one,
Of what? All
but
right. Well, what?
because we're gonna debut this. This is just a test run, guys. You let him know what you want, but I told Roman we would do it
What would?
next time, but he said he's got one ready.
Oh, I
Um,
don't have one ready. I mean,
oh yeah, so we'll save it. All right, so things
let's
are
say that.
coming
So yeah, so
because
you caught me off guard there.
we don't have
I
to talk it out on here. But what I was trying to get to Roman is to prolong the top fives, right? And so that we don't run out of top fives. We have to kind of specify, I think, like break it down, like
yeah
um, not because you can do best sports movies and then you're going in general and but like or top five sports movie, or you can go top five football and just break it down to the sport. Top five movies that scream Philly, and you could just name all the Rockies, like which is probably part of the bit.
no.
Like so,
I mean, I could do that.
yeah. I mean, I don't have a top five. We were just throwing it, but I mean, we got some fun stuff coming in. Give us any suggestions about a top five too, if you want to see us do a top five something. Obviously Philly related, but
Or like what they've been doing on WIP all this
what have they been
week. The Mount Rushmore. So you only could pick four,
doing?
and
Yeah. Well,
they've been pissing me off. So
I think
yeah,
today was the Sixers,
yeah,
and I heard the one, and I think I'm gonna be honest, as everybody, as much as I love Embiid, Embiid's not there to me. Even though I didn't see a lot of these guys play, but I think it's Wilt, Dr. J, Barkley, and AI.
oh,
That's for
100%.
me. That's for me. Embiid's not there yet. Obviously, he'll be able to replace. He's gonna replace Wilt for me. As great as Wilt was, there's
Yeah,
no
I'd say
highlights of
Chris Wilt.
Wilt that I can find as a Sixer. Like, I mean, if there was
Yeah,
highlights of
but
a 100
yeah,
point game, then like, you know what I mean? But
yeah, Wilt can easily be replaced on that list.
yeah, so I think we were doing that topic too. It came up in our group chat with our guys. I think it was like the top Mount Rushmore of. I think P brought it up of Phillies and then Eagles, I think you're the only one who answered.
Yeah, I was the only one that answered.
I was gonna answer, but I was gonna change the Phillies to Yankees. But I could give you a Phillies top four. Was it 4 or 5?
For what P was asking, or
Yeah, for the Phillies. Yeah, for repeat was that? Was it 4 or 5?
I
I forget.
think it was
It's 5.
four,
It was
five.
5. I remember because you named Try, you named Dawkins, you named Kelsey. Um, what else did you name?
Oh, jeez.
Name Reggie, probably. But anyway, I could do a Phillies living here so long. I could do a Phillies one, at least the ones I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
See if I can find it real quick. Jesus Christ. How long ago did he?
I think it was like a week or two ago. But anyway, we don't gotta waste time on it. But we'll come up with that later too. Another episode. Maybe we'll do that. It doesn't matter. But just interesting things. Trying to add more flavor to this. We got Roman's rant. We're gonna do top fives. We're gonna do things. It's trying to spice it up for the summer because it's gonna get really dry here coming up, guys. Because like I
Yeah,
said, Eagles are off until like the end of July. The Phillies are just, it's the middle of baseball season. As much as I love baseball, it's not that exciting around this time of the year. Even though last week, Dodgers Yankees felt kind of exciting to me at least. But which I was surprised about because
mm-hmm.
I was like, they're not even in the same like league. But yeah, it could be a preview to a World Series. Yankees, Phillies play later in July, end of July. That could be a preview as well if they stay hot with the record. So yeah, but it's gonna get dry a little bit. The good thing is, and maybe we'll talk about it because Roman wants to get into soccer. We might have some plans on the rise.
May have some plans.
The Euros start on Friday. The European Championships start on Friday, and then a couple of
Oh,
days later, next week, the South American Championships, which are being played in the U.S. and they're including some teams um from CONCACAF, which is where the
yeah.
U.S. plays.
I found it.
What is it?
He said you got to hang 8 jerseys in your personal Hall of Fame.
Oh,
Four
eight.
from the Phils, four from the Birds, and from the Phillies I picked Chase, Howard, Harper, and Hamels. And from the Eagles I picked B Dog, Kelsey, Trot, and Graham.
There you go. Well,
That's what I did. We can get into more of that in details later.
yeah, we'll do some stuff. But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning
Yep.
in. That's all we got this week. Till next week.
See you
Peace.
next week.